back to that God Power channel. This is the channel where we're going to unlock the God Power laying dormant on the inside of you. But first today, we're going to continue with our breakdown of the book of Revelation. And we're on chapter 3. So if you haven't seen chapter 2 or chapter 1 or the intro, you should go back and watch it because it's really good and you'll get some good information. And the story is heating up. So last time in chapter 2, we were talking about the letters that was written to the churches, right? The letters that John was instructed to write to the churches. So we're still going through that, and this time we're going to finish up all of the churches. So in chapter 2, we went through, I think, three of the churches, 3 or 4, and we'll finish up the last 3 or 4 here. So it's only 7, so here we go. Let's jump right in, and let's start with chapter 3. So it says, write this letter to the angel of the church of Sardis. This is the message from one who has the sevenfold Spirit of God and the 7 stars. I know all the things that you do, and that you have a reputation for being alive, but you are dead. Wake up, strengthen what little remains, for even what is left is almost dead. I find that your actions do not meet the requirement of my God. Go back to what you heard and believed at first. Hold to it firmly, repent, and turn to me again. If you don't wake up, I will come to you suddenly, as unexpected as a thief. Let's pause and talk about that for a second. This letter is to the people in this church in Sardis, and he's saying that they're dead. They're about dead, like dead in the spirit, meaning that they probably still got the love of God in their hearts and whatnot. It's still a little bit there, and God in this letter is asking them to wake up. So let's go on to chapter 4. Verse 4. Yet there are some in the church in Sardis who have not soiled their clothes with evil. They will walk with me in white, for they are worthy. All who are victorious will be clothed in white. I will never erase their names from the book of life, but I will announce before my Father and his angels that they are mine. So there's this thing called the book of life, right? And apparently it has people's names written in it. This is what Jesus is saying here. And there's people who will never have their names erased out of that book. Now, that insinuates that, sorry about that, that insinuates that there's people that will have their names erased out of that book. And I wonder, there's got to be more information about this book of life. So maybe as we break down other books of the Bible, maybe we'll get more information about this book of life from the Word. But if not, we'll just do a God Power episode about the book of life and see, what all these scholars who study the Word have put together. But anyways, they're going to be clothed in white too. So this is probably where you get that image of people in heaven being in white clothes. Like this is, coming from here probably. Then it goes in verse 6. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. All right. So that was the message to the church of Sardis. Let's read the message to the church of Philadelphia in verse 7. It says, Write this letter to the angel of the church in Philadelphia. All right. This letter starts off with this. This is the message from the one who is holy and true, the one who has the key of David. What he opens, no one can close, and what he closes, no one can open. I know all the things that you do, and have opened a door for you that no one can close. You have little strength, yet you obeyed my word and did not deny me. Look, I will force those who belong to Satan's synagogue, those liars who say they are Jews but are not, to come and bow down to your feet. They will acknowledge that you are the ones I love. Because you've obeyed my command to preserve, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world to test those who belong to this world. I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take away your crown. All who are victorious become pillars in the temple of God, and they will never have to leave it. And I will write on them the name of my God, and they will be citizens in the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, that comes down from heaven from my God, and I will also write on them my new name. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. So, in this letter, basically, it's saying that these people have held tight to everything Jesus has said, and they're going to be able to be pillars in heaven, and they never have to leave heaven. So, this is saying that these people will be able to be in heaven. Or they're going to be pillars in the temple of my God. I'm sorry, not in heaven. In the temple of my God, and they'll never have to leave it. So what that is talking about the new Jerusalem that comes down from heaven. So this is the new earth, or the new Jerusalem that Jesus is talking about here. And he's going to write his new name on them. So he's going to have a new name that we don't know, but they'll know. So lastly, this is the church in Laodicea, and this is the letter here. In verse 14, it says, "Write this letter to the angel of the church of Laodicea. This is the message from the one who is the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of God's new creation. I know all the things you do, and that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth. You say, I am rich, I have everything I want, I don't need a thing, and you don't realize that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. So I advise you to buy gold from me, gold that has been purified by fire. Then you will be rich. Also, buy white garments from me so that you will not be shamed by your nakedness, an ointment for your eyes so that you will be able to see. I correct and discipline everyone I love, so be diligent and turn from your indifference. Look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I'll come in, and we will share a meal together as friends. Those who are victorious will sit with me on my throne, just as I was victorious and sat with my Father on his throne. Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches." So basically, this letter to the church in Laodicea is saying that these people are just like, neither hot nor cold. They're not in it. They're not out of it. And Jesus is saying he wished that they were one or the other. So since they're not, he's just gonna spit them out their mouth. But they're since they're so comfortable, they can go by their way into. I don't know what this is really saying here. If you have an interpretation of this a little bit more, let's see it. But Laodicea, according to this Bible that I'm reading, it was the wealthiest of the 7 cities that they're talking about in this Turkey area, or what we know as Turkey. And they're known for their banking industry, manufacture of wool, medical supplies, and ointment and stuff. So if you have that knowledge, then you understand that this message is saying, hey, yeah, buy your way into it. If you feel like that's it, if you can buy whatever you want, you're so comfortable, everything's good, you're neither hot nor cold, well, then you better buy this. You better buy the gold from Jesus. and the people who can hear that message, who are in that position, or who are part of that church, you know what I'm saying, that is for them. That's why I think at the end of the messages is saying anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he's saying to the churches. So for me, I don't think these churches are like physical places. I'm thinking these churches are more like, situations. You feel me? But they are physical places because they actually exist in Turkey, or what we know as modern day Turkey. But in the scope and the context of what I'm reading, it seems like it's more so the physical place has a certain type of people, and those certain type of people are duplicated all around the world, so you can fit yourself into any of these churches. And if you have ears to hear what the Spirit is saying, you got to understand and listen. Moving from the conditions within the churches in Asia to the future of the universal church, John sees the course of coming events in a way similar to Daniel and Ezekiel. Many of these passages contain clear spiritual teachings, but others seem beyond our ability to understand. The clear teaching of this book is that God will defeat all evil in the end. We must live in obedience to Jesus Christ. the coming conqueror of the and the judge. So basically, that's what this book is about. We finished chapter 3. Literally, that is the end. I'm sorry, I didn't say that before, but that's the end of chapter 3. And we're done with all the letters to the churches. So go back and review the letters to the churches and see which church sounds like a situation that you're in, and then try to understand. Maybe you can find yourself being part of all the churches, right? But that way you just understand how to be victorious because the game plan is laid out right there before you. It tells you how to do it each time. But hope you learned something from chapter 3. And in the next one, we're going to go on to chapter 4 and break it down. Now, chapter 4 is where it starts seeing visions, and we're done with the letters now. We're about to start seeing what happens at the end. So hope y'all are ready for that. And I hope you love somebody today. Hope you do something perfect because, perfection is all a perspective. Feel me? Jesus said be perfect, so we can be perfect. Do something perfect today. Help someone else out today. And love everybody and yourself, most importantly, and God, most importantly, above that. Oh yeah. And most importantly, remember that you got that God.
Tapping the source, tapping the vibe. I just thank God I'm alive.